Welcome to Commander's Comments. I'm your producer for the evening, Harrison. I'm going to turn it very quickly over to our Chief of Heritage Operations, Mr. Ron Kennedy.
Thank you very much, Moose, and welcome everyone to Commander's Comment. This is the first one of 2023. I can't believe it. I'm still trying to say 1965. I don't know. But at any rate, the first one of the year. Glad to have you with us. We've got a lot of great stuff going on. Quite frankly, I'm glad we've got this old year behind us because I think there's a lot of great things we can get accomplished, but we can't get it accomplished without good leadership, and we've got some of the best. So where is our Commander-in-Chief, Jason Boshers? Welcome, Jason. Appreciate it. I know you've been very, you and your family have been very touched and bereaved with your loss, and we all are so sad for that. But thank you for coming on board today. Donald, I had asked my twin brother to be on standby because realizing that you just might be still overwhelmed with family affairs. We all understand how that is. But nonetheless, we do have the Lieutenant Commander-in-Chief, and I don't know if you can get all three of us on, Moose, but there you go. That way now. Jason, you can help me remember which one I am. I get confused. But at any rate.
All I know is one of you is the good-looking one, and one of you has the brains, and I'll let y'all decide which one it is.
Well, it's very easy. I'm the good-looking, smart one, but Donald is the one Mama always said is a liar. So you got to watch out for it.
All right, thank you. Yeah.
Listen, we've got a lot going on, but this first talk a little bit about everyone that got their Confederate veteran, and not everyone's got. I got mine before Donald got his, and I think Commander-in-Chief hadn't gotten his yet. Mm-hmm. But those of you who have gotten your Confederate veteran, you'll see that on the front of it, of course, is a picture of past Commander-in-Chief. Thank you, Moose. Past Commander-in-Chief Ed Deason. He was a wonderful, wonderful person, a great friend of Donald and mine, and just a true Confederate. His passing is mourned by all of us. He'll be missed. He was a soldier in the cause, and it seems like Donald, what was about 6 months or 9 months ago, we saw him up at at Elm Springs.
That's correct. Ron, I just got to tell you, every time I think about Ed, he used to pick at me because when I lived in Simsboro, Louisiana, I had a P.O. Box 56, and he'd always say, how in the world do you get your family in that little post office box? He said, I've been down there. It's not very big. He was a character, and he was well loved and well respected. And the main thing I like, he was a warrior for the cause, and he was an inspiration to all of us, and he always will be, much like some of the other leaders we've had, and even our current leader that we all look up to and respect and admire. Thank you all.
It's a long time before he's on the front page of the Confederate Veteran, though. I mean, you and I be long gone when that happens.
Let's hope it's a while.
But listen, I wanted to remind everyone on page 28 in your Confederate Veteran, there's a super nice write-up about past Commander-in-Chief. So if you get a chance, take a look at this issue, January or February of 2023 issue of the Confederate Veteran. Want to give a nice shout out to Frank Powell. He does a great job with the Confederate Veteran. But something, Jason, I bet you I've got 100 Confederate veterans. No, more than that. I don't know. They're up in my attic, all of them. And I want to talk to Frank about the possibility of some of us who really, I hate to just stack them up. I would love to get this as a digital and that way I'll pay the same thing. It'll help defer the cost. I know it's rising costs, but I'd like to have it as a digital copy. That way it won't cost the SCV anything to send it to me. Plus, if we could get even 100 to 1,000 or 2,000 people say, yeah, send it to me digitally, that will help us hold down the price. So won't have to increase dues in order to cover for this. Because I talked to Frank, and I don't know, he's probably, if I'm misquoting, please tell me, but Frank said the cost is going up on the paper and printing and everything.
Yes, sir, it is. And I want to thank you for bringing all of this up. I think it's a great talking point for several reasons. First of all, let's just point out what has just happened. You have your copy. I don't have my copy. Now, they all went to the printer. They all left the printer at the same time. They all went to the post office. Here it is. I believe the day is January 5th, and I do not have my copy. That is nobody's fault but the post office. You know, a lot of people start calling HQ on January 1st, January 2nd, which they didn't this time because it's the holiday.
Yeah.
But, you know, they start calling immediately saying, I haven't got my veteran. There's times it is, I'm a week, I'm 8-10 days into the month before I ever get mine. And that is a problem dealing with mailing them. Whereas if you do something digital, it's out there on the website actually by the end of December. You know, we can make a point to have it out there that, when it goes to the printer, and we know there's going to be some people that still want it printed, and it goes to the printer, and I understand that. And it goes to the printer, and when it goes to the printer, it automatically goes out there and onto the website, and people are able to go and take a look. And it could be as early as the middle of the even months. To me, we have this conversation actually begun by I actually started between me and Larry McClooney back when Larry McClooney was LT. This was back before he was ever Commander-in-Chief, and he was running for Commander-in-Chief, and we were talking about the cost of everything. Us sitting in the GEC meetings, which anybody that is a member in good standing of the SCV can come to the GEC meeting and can set in on all of this. And I was, we got to just talking about the cost of everything. And printing and mailing the Confederate Veteran magazine is one of our biggest expenses. And we were talking then, if we could just get some people that would be willing to take it online. Now, here's the problem with it taken online. There's going to have to be a way to, when the mailing list goes to the printer, for it to be able to be sent out, we would have to take off the group of people that want it. So, we have 30,000 members. Let's use round numbers to make it easy. Let's say 3,000 people want it digital. Then we have to take those 3,000 people off the other list. So we don't still just print them and send them as well. Now, that's going to be something that we're working through with Salesforce. And we're hoping that if this is something that the membership is willing to talk about doing and willing to do, it will save the organization some cost. And as we all know, we're all children of people that are very conservative. Saving money is making money. I cannot tell you how many times I heard my mother's mother say that. When she was saving the bacon grease and when she was saving all of this, saving money is making money. And this is an opportunity. And I thank you for bringing that up because there's two things. Yes, we can, people can get it more instantaneous. It'll save us money. And well, here it is, the 5th. And I really don't know when I'm going to get my copy.
Well, and we had a similar situation. Donald probably remembers this in Louisiana with the True Delta. You remember it was costing us so much money to publish it and mail it out to everyone. And we just asked for volunteers. And most, I would dare say, probably the majority of the Louisiana members now get it digitally because, it's just U.S. mail, the same
And
people. The same government that wants to deliver babies can't even deliver mail on a punctual basis, So anyway, all right, that's it.
Yeah.
But
I agree.
What what do you have on your list? I don't want to jump in. I got a couple things, and I know you have a couple things.
Well, to be honest with you, I wanted y'all to talk about something that is going to be very critical that y'all are working on. That's the Stephen D. Lee Institute. So
Right.
if y'all want to jump into the Stephen D. Lee Institute, the floor is y'all's. Catch us up to date.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. The Stephen D. Lee Institute, we're working hard to get people. Now, listen. Let me first make an announcement. Please get this out to all your camp members. Some folks tried to get on this past week to register, and we got some complaints. What's wrong? That the website's down and I can't get on. And I said, well, that's strange. My twin brother was on it last week, and it was what's going on? So I got a hold of Frank, and Frank said, yeah, some idiot snipped the cable going to our website or somehow, and the website it's being repaired. Well, it's back up and running. So please get online, register now. It's going to be a great meeting. Go ahead and put that picture up of the flyer, Moose, of the, and it's the Monuments from Memory to Mayhem. And I'm going to just go over some of the speakers that we got a great list of speakers. Ed Hooper, American Renaissance to the Dark Ages. So he's an artist, and he's going to be talking about the loss of our monuments as a loss of art, and it's our history in art. So this is a great fellow. We got another Teresa Rowan will be there. We all know, well, I say we all, most people know Teresa Rowan. She has done a great job defending the cause. She's from Virginia. She'll be down. Got a presenter doing a one on the National Register of Historic Places, not a safe place for American history. So he'll be talking. Got another presenter on the role model to Rogue and Back, the destruction and restoration of the Robert E. Lee statue at Montgomery, Alabama's Lee High School. So, and then there's some guy named Kennedy that's going to be talking about monuments, national reconciliation or national divorce. So, the others are scholars. This last one is a propagandist. So, but he'll be doing his thing as well. But the important thing is we've got a great list of speakers. Other than the Kennedy speaking, it's going to be a very scholarly lecture series, and I think everyone will enjoy it. And you're going to enjoy the panel of. I don't have that list in front of me, but there's a panel of about six attorneys. I started to say physicians, Donald. Six attorneys who have all been very heavily involved in the lawsuits on heritage preservation, monument preservation, and that'll be a discussion panel. So you'll get a chance to ask questions directly to these folks. One of them, and I can't remember his name because I thought I had it in front of me. I'm looking for my paperwork, but unorganized Celtic that I am, I don't see it.
Well, they're on the flyer. If you want to put that flyer back up, they were on it.
With the one that from Georgia is Martin O'Toole. He has done a wonderful job in Georgia. Not that these others, Scott Hall is on there. Scott has been involved in just about all the legal fights we've been involved with. But Martin O'Toole from Georgia has done a wonderful job in Georgia. Donald and I heard him at the Georgia convention.
Yes.
Oh, was it last year?
I know it's 2 years ago, I believe.
Lord, how time flies when you're having fun, getting old. But anyway,
fighting Yankees.
Yeah, fighting Yankees. But at any rate, I think everyone will enjoy having an opportunity to talk to him and discuss with him. And of course, David McAllister from Florida, he'll be on the panel as well. So it's going to be an excellent. Thank you. You can take that down now, Moose. But I think that's going to be a great opportunity to learn. Now, today, Donald, didn't you talk to Adam about being
Yes. Yeah, we're hoping to have. I shouldn't say hope, but we are planning on having a table for the headquarters there, and we'll be selling books there. Ron and I will be there hawking books. Now, every penny of profit that Ron and I make on selling these books are going to the museum. So we'll be bringing books, and only thing we ask is cover the cost of the books. But any profit made will. So if you see a Kennedy twin at the headquarters table signing books just left and right, because you know they're going to be flying off the table. Don't think that we're putting that money in our pockets and taking it back to Louisiana. The money goes to the museum fund to help defer the pay down the debt on the museum. So we plan on being there. And if you when you're coming there, if you have one of the Kennedy twins books that is not signed, bring it along and we'll be happy to autograph it for you. Look forward to seeing a lot of good folks in Florida. I'm going to tell you, Tampa is a beautiful place. It's worth the trip just to drive down the interstate and see that humongous Confederate flag. I just hope it insults every person that goes by. That's all I can say. That's a beautiful flag.
I understand that when Obama was coming into town, somebody asked the SCV to lower the flag while Obama was, so he wouldn't have to see it. It didn't happen. But anyway, hurrah for them. Now, to register, let's go ahead and put the registration up so we can show. I want to make sure. Look, to register for the Stephen D. Lee. Now, I know this is for my twin brother. He has trouble following these things. So you go to scv.org. Okay, that's our national website. So you're going to come to that. When you land there, look under resources. So you go down across, it says resources. You click on resources, then under programs, you'll see Stephen or SD Lee. You click on SD Lee, and what pops up will be something that's, among other things, says quick links. And it's under quick links. You just drop down a little bit with your cursor, and you'll see register now. You click that dial, and it opens up the page, and you can put your information in. Okay, so
it only took me an hour to do that. Figure it out.
Well, it because our web page is so big, it has so much on there that it does take a little bit, but you just go to the scv.org, go over to where it says resources, click there, program, or when you cursor over it, it'll get the dialog box to come down. It says programs is down under there. Click on that. Then you get SD Lee, click on that. You see quick links will pop up. And under quick links, you don't have to do anything with quick links. You'll see register now, click there, and the registration page, you just populate that right there and it's done. And I believe the PayPal or whatever credit card payment can be made on site. So that works good. But anyway, that is
Ron, get the commander to tell us where he's going to be. Because he's going to be somewhere, I believe, this weekend and a couple other places.
Yeah,
I think we want to know where he's going to be.
Well, first of all, since we're talking about the Stephen D. Lee Institute, I will be at the Stephen D. Lee Institute. That's going to be, and I still want to remind everybody, it's February 24th through the 26th. Go ahead and make your plans now if you haven't already. I'm going to go ahead and greatly encourage anybody, if you're going to come, please go ahead and register. Please go ahead and register because there's going to be some cutoff dates that's going to be coming up. Go on out there, get registered today, this weekend. Go ahead and get it all over with. That way you can go ahead and make plans on coming on down to what we hope will be sunny Tampa.
Yeah.
But as far as things that are going on this weekend, as we all know, this is Lee and Jackson. So we have a lot of Lee and Jacksons coming up. Right now, it's easier for me just to go ahead and pull up my calendar. I will be down with the J.J. Dickinson camp down in Cocoa Beach, Florida, speaking this coming Saturday. Then I will be at a Lee Jackson in Fort Blakely, Alabama on Tuesday the 10th. Be down visiting with Tommy Rhodes in the Fort Blakely camp. Then on January 15th, which is a Sunday, I will be in Jacksonville, Florida at a Lee Jackson speaking with the Kirby Smith 1209 camp in Jacksonville. So I'm looking really forward to those three. And then the weekend of January 21st, I will be at a Lee Jackson in Beauvoir. So I will be down, so I'm going to be making a couple of trips to the coast here coming up. And then I'm going to be at the Zebulon Vance camp, speaking with them on Tuesday the 26th. And then I will be in Baton Rouge on the 28th of January. So I will be traveling quite a bit. And then it's not over with then. On February the 2nd, I'll be in Gastonia, North Carolina at a Lee Jackson. And then I will be speaking at the Highland Brigade Lee Jackson on February the 4th. And February the 11th, I will be speaking at a Brigade Lee Jackson here in Tennessee. And then on the 24th and 25th and 26th, we'll be down in beautiful sunny Tampa for the Stephen D. Lee. So as you can see, I've got numerous speaking engagements coming up January and February. So,
well, thank you very much for being willing to get on the road and unless you're Commander-in-Chief and Paul Grambling can agree to this, but Chuck McMichael and all the ones before, you just spend a lot of time on the road. You spend a lot of time on the phone. You spend a lot of time answering emails. You spend a lot of time answering texts. It's just it's a wonder we get anything done. I know Donald and I spend anywhere from 2 to 4 hours every morning on SCV stuff. It's like, this is our job almost.
Oh, yes, sir. The first thing I do when I wake up, it's what did I wake up to? And you're going through, you're checking your emails, you're checking your Facebook messages, you're doing all these things that you have to do. And then you deal with whatever comes up with during the day. The one thing that I had that kind of put me behind the 8 ball was, my cell phone went down. And as my wife can tell you, I will talk a cell phone down. I generally will sometime during the day it will go down and I'll have to charge it, and then it will need charging again that night. I think it's somewhere that I'm what did it tell me? What it does says health check.
Yeah.
I think there for some days when everything cranked up in Arlington, I was spending anywhere between 8.5 to 9.5 hours a day on the phone. And because everybody has, everybody want to talk about it, but when you talk about that much, and here lately, I haven't been spending quite as much, but I also during that time didn't get to check a lot of emails.
Yeah.
So when I did get my email checked on my CIC at scv.org, I had 248 emails waiting on me in 3 days. So now, agreed, a lot of those were junk. We get a whole lot of spam because there's everybody that's, you know how people are. So I get a lot of junk, a lot of spam, just like you do on yours.
Yeah, but you still got to go through the spam and throw it out and figure, is this something I want? You don't want to accidentally get rid of somebody's email that is hot topic, and then they think you're ignoring them.
Yes,
that's my great fear. But and I'm sure I've done it.
Oh yes, and I've made that mistake. I've had somebody. Well, I had one today. Tom Wood, who's the Tennessee Division Adjutant, sent me an email saying, "I sent you this email. You didn't reply. I've yet to find it." So probably somewhere along the way, I accidentally deleted that email because what he sent to me, I did need that information, and I do need to reply to it. So that's just one of those things that happen. but I've learned to live off my phone. And I'm going to go back before I really got involved and become a councilman. I had to find my cell phone. Half the time, I didn't even carry it with me. I didn't know where it was. My wife would come up and here's your phone, because I'm going somewhere. Here's your phone. And now with what we're doing here, we live off of it.
Absolutely.
And to actually have it go down, and you can't go in the store and get anything now. Everything has to be ordered and it's got to be shipped to you.
Yeah.
So it takes 2 days to get to you, and then you've got to get it up and get going. And it's just the way things are. So yes, I'm familiar with that.
Let's talk a little bit about this. Oh, wait, Donald.
Right quick, since we was talking about where we're going to be, I want to mention right quick on January the 14th, which is coming up this weekend, I'll be at the Lee Jackson banquet and at the Humphreys camp in Indianola, Mississippi. That's the camp that past Commander-in-Chief, of course, McClooney's camp.
Wait. Indianola, that's in Mississippi. That's in Sunflower County, isn't it?
Sunflower County. You remember that quite well. Not bad at all. And listen, on the following week, on the 21st, Ron and I will be speaking at the Hood's Texas Brigade's luncheon on that Saturday, the 21st. We will be dueling it back and forth, Ron and myself, for a kind of a lecture conversation with the Hood's Texas Brigade there in San Antonio. That night, Ron and I are going to prop our feet up and we're going to relax and be part of just the observation crew at the Alamo Guards Heroes banquet. So we're going to be there in San Antonio, Texas, Saturday all day, speaking and just enjoying the camaraderie of two great units there in the San Antonio area. So I just want to get that out. We are being kind of busy ourselves and we'll continue to do so.
And after the Texas meeting, that following Monday, I believe, I have a meeting in Alabama, and my calendar's over here, and I can't tell you. I apologize to you Alabama folks, but I'm gonna be there. It's in my calendar. I don't even know where I'm going yet. I know it's over. It's over on the other side of Mobile, so I'll be there. we have a lot going on. Listen, it's 7:30, and I don't know if Moose wants to do a Pop-Tart break because I've got a couple of questions, two questions for the commander I want to talk about or ask him about. To bring us up to date on. So, Moose, do you want to do a Pop-Tart break first?
I think Moose must have went out milking the cows.
Yeah, I guess so. Well, I tell you what, if he's not going
y'all can go ahead.
All right, we'll go ahead. All right. Well, listen, this is a question for the Commander-in-Chief and the Lieutenant Commander-in-Chief. I saw this, somebody forwarded this to me, and I don't know if it's anything that the South Carolina SCV is in on, or if this is just some independent heritage organization. But I saw this said, South Carolina, we're happy to announce the introduction to South Carolina House Bill so-and-so to protect their monuments. It's an additional monument protection bill in the legislature in South Carolina. Now, this is not coming from the South Carolina Division Sons of Confederate Veterans. Have you heard anything about, either one of y'all heard anything about that?
I've heard about some things that are going on in South Carolina, and I do know that they are right now pushing some extra heritage protection. And I know that it's going on there. I know it's going on in North Carolina, and also some stuff going on in Virginia. But as far as any of the details, I have not been privy to any of the details. Now, Mr. Kennedy might have.
No, I haven't, but what I would like to make a point that we need to get in touch with the commander of the division and find out what's going on, because sometimes you get somebody introduce one of these protection bills, and what it does is they're gutting the existing bill. So before we jump on and say, "Oh, this sounds great," we need to get somebody in South Carolina to take a good look at it. And I'm sure they're doing that.
And if it's a legit now, so I don't want to get ahead of the division. The division commander is the one that's got to tell us. So I brought this up. So if anybody from the South Carolina division know anything about this, let me know. Or really, I don't need to talk to a camp member. I need to talk to the division commander, or the division commander can talk to the commander-in-chief, and then commander-in-chief can tell me. But if let us suppose South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia, wherever, if you have a piece of legislation that you're pushing in your state, get with the heritage operation so we can help you. This would be a great opportunity to roll out one-click politics for the state legislature. If this is something that you as a division in South Carolina want to support. Now, I'm not one that wants the Sons of Confederate Veteran to be the fall guy for every little organization that organizes trying to do heritage protection. But if this is something that the South Carolina division, or if the North Carolina division or any other division has got something going on in their state that they want to support, we can use this. We bought this one-click politics. It's not going to do us any good if we don't use it. But if it's something, and I'm not going to get ahead of the division. The division has got to come to either me. If it comes to me, I'm going to the CIC, because I'm not going to stick Kennedy's. I stick my neck out enough like it is. I'm not going to get ahead of the CIC, Commander Boshers. But if, say, the division commander from South Carolina says we need some help in pushing this, or we would like to, you may not need some help. You just might say, hey, this is lanyap. Let's put a little more to it. I hope folks in South Carolina know what lanyap means, Don.
Hey, Ron, right quick, just a synopsis, just a few words. Tell them what the one-click will do. Just refresh some people's memory.
Okay, the one-click politics is really, it's a software system that we have bought into, not the system, but what you can say, we're renting their services. I mean, that's what it boils down to. And if you have something, let's say the state of Louisiana, we've got a piece of legislation we want killed or we want passed, we can do up a quick little blurb about how we, as the Sons of Confederate Veterans, want to support this, or as you don't even have to put our name on it if you don't want to, but suppose the Louisiana Division Sons of Confederate Veterans, I'm a member of the Nathan Bedford Forest Camp in Covington, Louisiana. I want you as my representative, as my state representative, state senator, to support this bill. We post that, and what happens is when you say somebody from Bogalusa gets on it. Well, Bogalusa is a long way away from me, not a long way, but it's away from me. They got a different representative, it's a different senator. They'll go on, put their zip code in, and it'll automatically populate the email address of their state representative or their state senator. They can then take that message that we've already made for them and hit a button. That's all you got to do. One click then, and it goes immediately. Mm-hmm. Now, look, if every SCV member in Louisiana and every SCV member's wife, significant other, girlfriend, both of them, whatever, your neighbors, your cousins, we could send thousands of emails supporting this bill, and it'll make a big difference. So the same goes for any division. So this is why the one-click politics is so important. And if we don't use it, because we're not going to renew it next year, but we can't force people to use it, but we can send it out, and we can make it available to the division. There's some state and national things coming up again, and there'll be some opportunity for us to use it on a national level. So that's why it's so important. And I urge all the divisions, if you have something that you want to get to your state legislators, let us know.
And you're right. I was sitting there listening to everything you say, and to me, we're talking about something that is Confederate related, but this could be about any particular issue. We could, this is one of the things, it could go out about anything. Let's say that they're wanting to do something with George Washington, or do something with the founding fathers, or just, there's a bill that, bad one way or another.
How
It's
about
not
this?
just SCV.
How
Okay.
about this? We want a change in the textbooks that they're using that
Yep.
gives a fair and balanced view, or
Sure.
we want to make sure that critical race theory isn't taught in our schools, because it leads towards hatred of our own people, and we don't need division. I mean, those are the kind of things that we can do.
Yes.
Now, we can't use it to support a political candidate, that of
No.
course,
No.
but we can use it to promote those causes that will promote the traditions and the beliefs of the Sons of Confederate Veterans.
Yes. And this stretches outside the Sons of Confederate Veterans. Let's say that you live in Pascagoula, Mississippi, and you know somebody that feels exactly like you do, and they're not a member of the SCV. You can still forward this link to them, and they can respond to it as well. It's not just SCV stuff related. Of course, that's going to be some of the focus, but
Right,
it's not all of it. Yes.
Terrific. We also have okay, I think we've talked enough on that. Let me get over to what's coming up. Adam did a great thing for me, because I can't keep up with my calendar.
Yeah.
I had committed to go into, I forgot where it was, Donald. It was, oh Lord. But anyway, someone had asked me to go to speak, and I said, I looked at my calendar. Hey, it's wide open. I'll be glad to go. So I said, right, Carl. But so I scheduled it, and then I found out, that's going to be the pilgrimage weekend. So I had to call back and say I can't make it. So anyway, Moose, would you scroll through the list? Here's the meetings of the SCV events for 2023. Let's see, Mechanized Cavalry roll call at historic Elm Springs, February the 4th. That's not too far off. Of course, the Stephen D. Lee Institute in Tampa, Florida, the 24th, 25th, 26th. Then we've got the spring GEC meeting in March the 4th. There's the Stone Mountain Confederate Memorial Service, Georgia, April the 29th. Donald, didn't you say we had a conflict there or something?
I can't remember.
Not me, but anyway, and then the Elm Springs Pilgrimage and Confederate Memorial Service, May the 6th. We got the homecoming at Forest Boyhood Camp. I really want to make that one. I was honored to speak there one time. They hadn't invited me back since. But anyway, June the 17th, the Hot Springs National Reunion on the 19th and 22nd, the Fall GEC meeting. All these are on our, you'll be able to put them on your calendar. Make sure you know when they are. I'm not going to continue reading the whole year, but we'll scroll that for a while so everybody can get that on their calendar, especially the Kennedy twins, because we don't want to double schedule ourselves again.
Now, did this go out on the Telegraph or just to you?
I got a copy. No, Daryl Maple sent out to the GEC, didn't he?
Okay.
Yes. He sent it to the GEC. We're going to be putting this on the Telegraph.
Okay.
We're going to put this as part of this Commander's Comment SCV chat, so people are able to go back and see it. But we just want to, people say, well, do you ever have anything going on? Well, we have two things in February. We've got one thing in March, one thing in April, one thing in May, one thing in June, one thing in July, one thing in October, and two things in December. And that's not the things that we're planning on happening just at the museum, such as the car shows, such as the concerts, such as that kind of stuff. These are just national events. And I'm really glad that we got it on there for October 29th. Back at Stone Mountain. I remember when Mr. Donnie Kennedy was there a few years ago. It was when Paul Gramlin was Commander-in-Chief. And now we're being able to go back to that. And I'm going to go ahead and ask right now if the Kennedy twins would be willing to be speakers at the Forest Boyhood Homecoming on June 17th.
Hey, Ron, please don't throw Burr Rabbit in the briar patch. Have you ever heard that story? Yes, sir. We'd be honored, sir. Absolutely.
To be there.
Well,
Yeah.
Okay, folks, Forest Boyhood Home, third Saturday in June. Remember, it is always the third Saturday in June. Forest Boyhood Homecoming, you can come to the last home that is still standing of Confederate General Nathan Bedford Forrest.
Oh, man,
and we also need to remember, on the first Saturday in May is the pilgrimage and homecoming.
absolutely.
So first Saturday in May, pilgrimage and homecoming. Third Saturday in June is the Forest homecoming.
Commander,
We got a lot going on.
yeah, are we going to do as usual? Have the floral tribute at the?
Yes, sir.
Good. Are we going to do it
Yes,
at? Are we going to do it at the Forest gravesite? Or are we going to do it at the museum?
Robert E. Lee. You know, we put up the Robert E. Lee
great,
statue.
yes.
We're going to.
Yes.
That's at the corner of the museum.
Right.
It'll be happening right there. Yes, sir.
That's good news. I'm glad.
Yes,
glad I asked. Then in that case,
I'm glad you asked too. Thank you, sir.
Oh, that
Keep
is
me on my toes.
Now, Commander, I know this Arlington thing has just really, it's disgusting, it's aggravating, but it's not the end of the world because, look, if the federal government is saying that we no longer want that monument, we don't want to feel like that we're reorganized as a nation together, then we need to be able to bring that out to the world, because once that's brought out to the world, they're going to say, hey, wait, the American people, we've already shown in our sponsored poll that 60% of Americans, not just Southerners, but 60% of Americans, more like 70 or 80% of Southerners, want to preserve our Southern heritage. So if they pull down monuments, if the federal government is in the business of slandering Southerners, we need to make national efforts to make the world, let our American people know about this, particularly conservatives. And that's why it's so important that Donald and I have been planning, and we've talked to you, Commander, about doing some national advertisement. I want to get that done well before the national reunion, so we can show her about what we're doing. Once we do that, we'll also be able to use one click to send this out, let people send links to our national advertisement to all of their quote conservative representatives and senators in their state as well as in national, to let them know that this is a national organization. We're defending our heritage, and it's not going to be an angry, in your face. We're giving a positive view of our museum and showing the Southern, the pride that all Americans should have in our Southern heritage. And so the museum will be the lead on into that. And again, the museum is so important because it's going to be a great vehicle for us to advertise the museum and in a large national medium, whether it's print or whether it's a TV or blogs or whatever, we can get the word out. Now, Donald, I do believe we've got also a history highway, our first effort to do a little work on a national level.
Hey, Jason, I'm laughing because, we're identical twins. This is what I've just wrote down here. I said, I need to remind Ron, we got to say something about Rick Rebels. But, hey, what ESP, it's faster than the internet.
That's right. And you can't hack it,
That's crazy. Well, there's nothing worth hacking, probably. But, okay, listen, Ron and I had a great time along with Commander Boshers talking to Rick Rebels. He has on History Highway, he does a program. He's doing a program on the museum, and it'll be on his channel. I'm trying to think of the name of the channel. I should have wrote that down. But anyway, it's on Roku, and he has quite a few thousand followers. And so he's going to be doing a program on the museum. The important thing is that he is going to run our ad, that almost 2-minute ad that we have about the museum that Forrest Dawes does the talk over on it, the audio. And he's going to run that, and we're buying, the SCB is buying those ad time. He gave us the 2-minute ad for the cost of the 1-minute ad, so which is great. So we're looking forward to seeing that on a more of a national level, primarily because we're practicing on how to do this, because one day I'd like to see that on Tucker Carlson. Now we're going to have to truncate that ad down into a 1-minute ad.
Really, 50 seconds.
50 seconds, right. Well, essentially what they call a 1-minute audio ad, video ad. By the time we do that, we'll hit national, and we will have people all over the country understanding who we are and begin to question these wormy, gutless politicians who want to turn and run every time Black Lives Matter or the NAACP has a hiccup. They want to have a heart attack. So we're gonna put the heat on these people, because as Ron has just said, and Jason, you know this, you've seen the statistics, 60% of Americans approve of Confederate heritage and history. And when you come down to the South, Ron, just in Louisiana, it was 70% in Louisiana. And then the poll that Ron and I did of conservatives in Louisiana, this is Republicans, registered Republicans in Louisiana, it was over 99% of the respondents. I mean, they were aggravated as heck that no one had ever asked them until you fellas asked me. And I'm just sick and tired of it. I mean, you should see some of the replies we get. Yeah. But the conservative side, the Republican and the libertarian side, they're all for us. Now, why these wormy rhino Republicans break and run every time the NAACP has a little gas pain, I don't know. But it's time for us to give them a kick in the you-know-what if they don't support what we believe in, or else they're going to have to face us come election time. So much for my stump speech. Sorry.
Well, and I don't mean to be getting into a great deal of the politics that's going on right now, but I'm sure we've all seen what's going on since January 3rd, where they're just trying to elect the speaker. And I'm going to go ahead and admit it. I'm one of these weird, nerdy people that will watch C-SPAN, that will see what the politicians do. Yeah. And when you watch C-SPAN, you don't get a summary that Fox News has cut up or somebody else has done. You actually hear what they have to say when they're saying it. And, it's to see what is going on there. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not completely got the warm fuzzies on any of this stuff yet. Absolutely. And that is the reason why we need to, folks, we got to go. And when this stuff comes out, where we're going to be asking you to do some of this one-click politics stuff, we're nowhere near done with Arlington. Okay. Right. For everybody that is wondering what's going on, we're nowhere near done with Arlington. We've got a long way to go on it. And we do know a lot of things that's going on behind the scenes. We've been told a lot of these things. There's a lot of speculation that's going on behind it. Right now, I don't know who is right and who is wrong, because there's a lot of misinformation that is out there. But we know what we're doing. Yes. And that's the main thing. We know what we're doing. And we're not on the defense here.
That's right.
We are on the offense.
And one of the reasons we need to go national, I listened to Newt Gingrich about 2 nights ago praising Lincoln for getting rid of the idea of secession, breaking things up into smaller and smaller units. There's no way to run a country. Listen, that is just a myth that is totally untrue. And we could just knock that in the head if we have national audience, but we don't have that ability. We are working, the Sons of Confederate Veterans, the last 2 previous administrations, I know we've been working. I know this administration is working hard to get our message out to John Q. public, not just SCV members. We could go to Lee Jackson banquets till the cows come home. Yep. We'll be talking to the same old people. listen, we don't need to talk to each other. We need to get the people out yonder who 60 to 80% of them agree with them, get them angry enough to pick up the phone and call that politician and say, we ain't having no more of this. You get right or get off the pot and get out of here. So we can do that. And I'm looking forward to working with Jason and Ron and anybody else that's willing to, let's get this thing and let's go national.
Yes.
And it's important, not just when we go national, we put those national ads out. We're going to get members out of it. We're going to get supporters out of it. All that's important. But your local camp has got to be the ones that takes that information and, I'll go over and over and over again until I sound like a broken record. These the local agents of influence. I mean, my camp here in Covington, every time we have a national ad, for instance, the National Confederate Legion will send out everyone that'll take it, the QR code that, look, take this, photocopy it, and send it to every one of your photocopies. Anyway, scan it in and email it to your elected officials, your mayors, your aldermen, your city councilmen, your board of supervisors, every so-called conservative elected official. You mail that to, and it shouldn't be done just once a year. It should be done at every meeting. We're at war, whether we want to admit it or not. And you're a better theologian than I am, but there's a scripture that talks about how I think Paul was talking. He said we're at war, not with just human beings, but principalities and powers, evil. And these evil spirits are behind all this neo-Marxist, postmodernist stuff. We as a Christian nation, we as the Bible Belt South, we are at war. And if we don't admit it, if we're afraid to say it, then all we're doing is helping the evil out. We're must ourselves. We must, and that doesn't mean you go out and you start cursing out people or you're waving guns around.
No.
That's what the other side want us to do.
Yeah.
We're not going to do that, but we are going to get the truth out. But it goes back to the local camp.
Yep.
Absolutely. Your Confederate heritage operation, something that you do to promote the cause, should be on the agenda at every meeting. And I'm asking people to appoint every camp, appoint a Southern Heritage officer for your camp. So I'll have someone to send this information to. I mean, come on, we can do this. We can win this. It's stupid to think that we can't win. We can win, and we will win. We shall win.
Well, and I agree with you 100%. The first thing we have to stop doing is taking the sword to each other. Nobody in this organization is my mortal enemy. I have seen our mortal enemy, and it is not anybody in this organization. You might not like me, and you might disagree with some things I say. And I might be the same with you, but we're not enemies. And the one thing that we need to do is stop taking the swords to each other. And then we need to start backing each other. We have to back each other, and we have to work together on this. And he is so correct when he says that it gets down to the camp level. The camp is the most important entity in this organization.
Amen.
Period. Now, the most important object in this is each and every member. Now, an object can be anything, but do you want to be a useful object? Do you want to be something that is needed? Do something for your camp. If you don't know what else to do, how about volunteering to be this officer that Mr. Kennedy here is talking about? That all I'm going to do is I'm going to bring some cards, fix up some cards, bring them in, and just say, okay, we're going to write this stuff out, and we're going to get it sent to this politician. We're going to send it to that politician. And guess what? We're going to invite them to come and speak to the camp.
There you go.
Okay, we're going to hold a Lee Jackson banquet, and we're going to invite them to be our keynote speaker. If you do not, how many people out there know who their local politician is? Their city mayor, their county mayor, their council people. from the city or the county or the state, how many of them know them? When's the last time you talked to any of them?
Jason, one thing that when we're having these Lee Jackson events, let's be sure we do send invitation to our political. Now, that don't mean they're going to show up. But that's not the point. The point is they'll get a letter from the local camp being courteous in inviting them to. So they may not go to this meeting, but they keep getting courteous invitations. They may show up, and then they'll learn about who we are. They're not going to fear us if they don't know about us.
I'll go you one better. I think you ought to have your ticket. So the Lee Jackson banquet costs $25. I'll pay for Mayor so-and-so in Covington or Mandeville. I'll pay for his, and I'll send him a paid, here's your admission ticket already paid. Now, will he come? Probably not. But he'll remember that. And, you know, sooner or later, we're going to be standing before the mayor and the city council wanting them to preserve a monument or give us permission to raise a flagpole or whatever. It's important.
Yes. Yeah. Too often we wait until the horse is out of the barn before we try to shut the door. You don't do that, folks. You've got to get ahead of the game. We've got to be proactive. We've got to get ahead of the enemy, and we got to tell our people on our side who we are, what we believe, why they should agree with us, and why they should be proud of their family and their heritage. If we get ahead of the game, you're you're gonna win. But if you have to fight from the rear after the enemy's already made his slanderous attack, then all you're doing is trying to defend a negative. And that's hard to do.
It is. Yes. It's like that old saying that I read it somewhere. Some brilliant writer wrote something about an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. I wonder who that was.
Good to me.
Where did I hear that?
Well, I don't know.
I don't know.
My mama said that.
We've got a couple of minutes left. You've been run over by the Kennedy. You know that's dangerous to put us at. Number one, there's two of us, and number two, we're both from Mississippi. And you know, Mississippi loves to have filibusters and stump preachers. You know, and that's us. So but you've got the last 2 minutes. So what would you like to wrap this section up with?
First of all, I was the one that said something about having both of y'all on here. I think that it is so important that all of us work together, especially with what we're going to be doing coming up here very soon. The line of communication. You need to be talking to your camp commanders, and your camp commanders and your camp officers need to be talking to your brigade commanders. Your brigade commander is going to need to be talking to your division commanders and your division officers. All of you are going to be needing to know each other and talk to each other. Like I said a little while back on this, that at one time you get it 5, 6, 7 years ago, I couldn't even tell you where my cell phone was. And now I carry it with me all the time. And in fact, feels kind of odd if I don't have it with me, because that is a line of communication that I have to have with everybody. And all of us are going to have this line of communication with each other. And we're going to be able to pick the phone up. We're going to be able to call each other and get somebody on the other end and know that other person is going to be willing to work with them to accomplish everything that we need to be accomplishing. And that is the reason why when I look at these Kennedy twins, now I'm going to go ahead and say you do not call them the Kennedy brothers. I made that mistake once, and I got corrected very nicely. The second time I made that comment, I got corrected at the back of the room after it was all over with. And there will not be a third time. I'm playing. They were very nice about it, but they said it's the Kennedy twins. So that's the reason why that I wanted the Kennedy twins on here. They are going to be an extremely critical piece as we move forward with everything we're going to need to be moving forward with. You're looking at our chief of heritage operations and the lieutenant commander-in-chief. These two men are very critical in everything that we have done and we're going to be doing. And I am here to give them my full support and exactly their thoughts and their dreams of what they are needing to do and wanting to do. I'm going to encourage everybody to be prepared. Now, when these politicians and everything gets settled down a little bit and people get sworn in and things start happening, things are going to start happening very quickly on this end. Please work with us, because if you will do your part of it, you will help guarantee the success of what we must have. And I don't want you to look back a handful of years from now and go, well, I wish I had done that. I wish we had done this. By the way, what was SCV National doing? Well, all we can do is get it to you, because we can't do all of it. You're going to need to be sending it to your politicians.
Amen.
And I'm going to ask you to do that. And on a final note, this past Tuesday, I had to lay my father to rest. I want to thank everybody for all the prayers, the heartfelt condolences. I want to thank everybody who sent flowers, who made phone calls, sent texts and emails. It means so much to me. Funeral home was very pretty. And the reason why it was very pretty and it smelled so good was all of the wonderful hearts of the people out there that are members of the Sons of Confederate Veterans. And, you know, my mother said it looks like it's just a great big family. And we're all brothers. We're all sisters. We're all going to have to be working together to make all of this happen. And it's not going to be one of us. It's going to be all of us. But it is going to have to be each and every one of us out there doing something. Amen. And the Kennedy twins, you have my full support.
Well, we appreciate it. But I tell you what, the most important person is that member at the local level, the most important organization isn't the museum, it's that local camp, if it's an active camp. Yeah. And that's the strength of the SCV. Well, with that, folks, I think we've just about run through our time. We are about 1 minute and 45 seconds over. So, Moose, if you're ready to take over and turn it off, I believe we have finished. And I want to thank everyone for listening. And please share this. You can, Moose is going to put the link out so you can share this on your Facebook. You can share it through any of your social media so folks can see what's been going on. Commander Boshers, thank you very much for what you're doing. I know you've been through a stressful time. So is my twin brother. This has not been a good season for us, but you know, the good Lord knows what he's doing, and we're going to trust in him and look for 2023 to be great. So, Moose, are you on?
He went back out to the barn.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
All right, we can close it down. Thank you very much.
Hey, Moose, do you want to talk about our sponsors real quick? Because we didn't mention them at all during this.
Oh, yes. We'll talk about our sponsors really quickly. The link is already in the chat for our sponsor tonight. And our sponsor, of course, is Southern Flags and Quilts. Don't send your money to some Yankee. Don't send it overseas. Keep it in the Southern family. Southern Flags and Quilts are based in Alabama, who some call the heart of Dixie. I think it's Mississippi, but that's beside the point. Southern Flags and Quilts make great, historically accurate flags. Every one of their flags is a work of art handled with the most delicate hand. So go check the link out in the chat. Go support Southern Flags and Quilt, their own Facebook, and she is more than happy to take any requests and help you out if you can.
Thanks to our sponsors. Thank you, Kennedy twins.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Commander.
And thank you guys for tuning in. And make sure to tune in for the Season 4 premiere Monday at 7 o'clock Confederate Standard Time. And we'll be talking about John Paul Jones. Until then, everybody, we will see you then. Stay Southern.
Amen.
Amen.